Dear son, this is something I have carried for a long time. Long enough that I stopped trusting myself to say it out loud, so I am writing it instead. Not because writing is easier, because at least this way you can read it again if you need to. You are older now. You are living your own life. The complicated, beautiful, sometimes bruising version of it. Maybe you are in a relationship that costs you sleep. Maybe you are somewhere inside a career that looks right on paper but feels hollow on a quiet Tuesday afternoon. Maybe you have become a father yourself. And if you have, then you already know. You know the particular weight of holding someone that's small and understanding for the first time what it actually means to be responsible for another person. I am writing this now, not because I have answers, but because I owe you my honesty more than I owe you a polished version of myself. This letter is about what I got wrong, what I wish I had known earlier, and the things I hope, now that you are grown, you will hear differently than you would have when you were young. The first thing, I was performing, not always, not on purpose, but more than I want to admit. I was playing a role rather than being a person. I had inherited a script, a set of unspoken rules about what a father was supposed to look like. My father handed it to me. His father handed it to him. None of us ever stopped long enough to ask whether it was worth passing on. The script said, be strong, provide, don't show fear, fix things. And whatever you do, don't let your son see you cry. Because if he sees you cry, he might decide the world is more dangerous than you told him it was. I remember one specific night. You were around 7. You had a nightmare, and you came padding down the hallway in those socks with the fraying elastic at the top. You stood in the doorway of my study, and you said very quietly, I'm scared, Dad. And I said the wrong thing. I said, there's nothing to be scared of. Quickly, efficiently. And then I walked you back to your room, tucked you in, and said, everything was fine. As if the right answer to fear was a sentence that dismissed it. What I should have said was, I know. Come here. Tell me what it felt like. What I should have done was sit on the floor of your room and stay until the dark felt less like a threat. Instead, I solved the problem and left. What I didn't understand then, and genuinely wish I had, is that you were not asking me to fix the fear. You were asking me to sit inside it with you. That is all you ever wanted. Not solutions, presence. I got that wrong more times than I can count. I am sorry for every single one. Your feelings were never the problem. They were always the door. I just didn't know how to walk through it with you. The second thing, I confused love with providing. I worked. I worked hard and I worked long, and I told myself it was for you, and part of it genuinely was. But part of it was also simpler than that. Work was easier than being home. Work had clear outcomes. I could measure my success there. With you, I never knew if I was doing it right. I thought love was the roof over your head, and the food on the table, and the school fees, and the holidays. I thought love was the accumulation of things I gave you so you would not have to go without. I confused providing for you with being present for you. They are not the same thing. They are not even close. Now that you are navigating your own finances and your own ambitions and your own exhaustion at the end of a long week, you may recognize this pattern. The way work can become armor. The way being productive can feel like being good. The way it is possible to disappear into achievement and still call it love. The people in your life do not need the version of you that arrives home depleted and efficient. They need the version of you with nothing left to prove. The one who sits down before dinner and says, tell me about your day, and actually listens to the answer. I was not always that man. I hope you become him. The hours I spent at my desk when I could have been beside you, I cannot reclaim those. That is a cost I did not see clearly until long after I had already paid it. The third thing, I passed things on to you that I should have stopped with me. Not material things, the invisible kind. The patterns that move through families without anyone choosing to send them, like water finding its way through stone, slow and patient, shaping everything it touches. My father believed that a man who needed help was weak. He never said it directly. He didn't have to. It was there in the way he changed the subject when someone cried, in the way he gripped his jaw when things got hard, in the way he never once said to anyone, "Are you okay?" and waited for an honest answer. I absorbed all of that the way children absorb everything, quietly, completely, without defense. And then I passed it to you, in the way I flinched at your tears when you were small, in the way I praise you more for toughness than for kindness, in the way I suggested, without ever saying it, that your value was connected to what you produced. That was wrong. That was a belief I inherited, and I regret that it reached you. Here is what I know now. Your worth is not something you earn. It does not increase when you succeed, and it does not disappear when you fall apart. You are not less deserving of care because you are struggling. You are not more deserving of love because you have achieved something impressive. Those two things were never connected, even when the adults around you behaved as though they were. You were enough the moment you arrived. You are enough right now, in whatever state you happen to be reading this. You do not have to earn my love. You never did. I just didn't know how to say it clearly without feeling like I was dismantling everything I'd been told a father was supposed to be. The fourth thing, I was afraid of you. Not in a way that had anything to do with danger. In the way that a person becomes afraid of something they love very much and cannot control. I was afraid that loving you too openly, too visibly, would leave me exposed to something I couldn't recover from if things went wrong. So I kept a small, careful distance. Just enough to feel like I had some protection. I thought it would be easier later. It wasn't. What it did instead was leave you on the other side of a gap that you could sense but probably couldn't name. Children feel when something is being withheld. They don't always know what it is, but they feel the space where it should have been. I was also, and this is harder to say, afraid of watching you grow past needing me. You were becoming a person with your own opinions, your own direction, a life that did not always require my involvement. I didn't know how to celebrate your independence without also grieving my own irrelevance. So sometimes I didn't celebrate it at all. That was my limitation, not yours. Your growth was always the whole point. I just hadn't prepared myself for what it would feel like to watch you walk away and recognize it as success. Wherever you are now, pulling away, coming back, somewhere in between, your distance is not a punishment. Your life, lived fully and on your own terms, is exactly what I wanted for you, even in the years when I didn't know how to say so. This is what I hope for you. I want to stop talking about what I got wrong. I want to talk about you now, about what I see when I look at who you have become, about what I hope you carry forward, and what I hope you feel free to put down. Let yourself be imperfect, not as an excuse, not as permission to stop trying, but as a simple and honest recognition that you are going to get things wrong sometimes. You are going to hurt people you love without intending to. You are going to make decisions that look different in hindsight. You are going to lie awake at 3 in the morning, regretting something you cannot change. That is not evidence of inadequacy. That is what it looks like to be a person who is genuinely trying. Let yourself be soft when the world tells you to be hard. Your ability to feel things deeply is not a flaw. The people who move through the world with real integrity are not the ones who feel nothing. They are the ones who feel a great deal and choose to stay open regardless. Don't let that get one out of you. Not by a job, not by a culture, not by the version of my voice that might still live in your head. Let yourself ask for help. I should have shown you that was acceptable. I didn't, so I am saying it plainly now. Needing support is not the same as being weak. Every person who has built something meaningful has leaned on someone else along the way. Let the people in your life carry some of what you carry. You are not a burden. You are someone worth showing up for. And if you become a parent, if you aren't already, let your child see you as a full human being. Let them see you uncertain. Let them see you say, I got that wrong, and I am sorry. Let them see that love does not require performance, and that strength is not the same as silence. Give them what you needed, and I sometimes failed to offer. A parent who stays in the room when things feel difficult. Whatever got handed down to you that wasn't useful, you can stop passing it on. You have more understanding of your interior life than I had at your age. More permission to feel things and put them into words. That didn't come from nowhere. Use it. There is one more thing I should say. One day, the table will turn. One day, things will shift. I will slow down. I will need you in ways that neither of us have had to think about yet. I'll forget things. I'll lose some of the certainty I used to carry around like furniture. And we will both be aware of what I used to be, even as we figure out together what I am becoming. I want you to know clearly, you do not owe me caretaking as repayment for being my son. Whatever you choose to give, your time, your patience, your presence, I want it because you love me, not because you feel obligated, not because guilt arrived before you did. When that time comes, and you are sitting with a quieter version of me than the one you grew up with, I hope you know that I am proud of you. Not for what you have accomplished, for who you are, for the way you love the people in your life, for the ordinary courage of continuing on a hard day. I have always been proud of you. I just said it less often than I should have, and sometimes added a qualification after it, which undid the whole thing. No qualifications this time. I am proud of you. That is all. I see you, son. I see the way you carry your doubts quietly, because somewhere along the way you decided nobody wanted to hear them. I see the effort you put into everything. Work, relationships, being the person you think you are supposed to be. I also see the tiredness underneath it. The gap between the version of yourself you present and the one that sits alone at the end of the day, wondering if it is ever going to feel less hard. You are allowed to not have it figured out. You are allowed to be in the middle of the story and feel like the middle is taking too long. That is what the middle feels like for everyone. You are not behind. You are simply in it, and that is not a problem to be solved. You are more than enough for where you are right now. Not the polished version. Not the version that performed well under pressure. You, with your contradictions and your unresolved questions in the places where you are still, healing from things I may have had some part in. You were never broken. The hard parts of you are not where you failed. They are where you lived. I was not a perfect father. There were years when trying to appear like one got in the way of actually being one, when managing how things looked cost me the attention I should have been giving to how things actually were. But I loved you. Imperfectly, inconsistently, across the full range of what I was capable of, I loved you. I love you now, writing this, with more honesty than I usually manage out loud. If there is one thing I want you to hold from all of this, it is simply this. You are not a problem to be solved or a version of yourself to be improved. You are a person to be known and loved exactly as you are. I hope the world offers you that. I hope the people you choose offer you that. And I hope, more than anything, that you begin to offer it to yourself. You deserve that, not because you have earned it, just because you are here. With all of my heart, imperfect, grateful yours, your dad.